water. Dry camping, campsites, a little bit of both.
Both.
Both. So we're going to be dry camping. We have tank fill. So these two levers right here, we'd have this one like that and that one down. Hook our water hose to here. That's going to fill up the freshwater tank for dry camping.
Okay.
And then once the tank's full, we'll switch it over to dry camping. Now everything draws off the water pump through the water lines. But if we're going to a place with full hookups, we'd have them both side to side. Still water goes into here, and that'll give you pressurized water through your water lines when the water's hooked up.
So when we're at a campground, this has to stay open to be hooked up to the water?
No, you have a little spot right here the hose can fit through.
Oh, okay.
So you can bring your hoses up and keep this shut while you're camping. We're ever going to winterize it, so storing it somewhere freezing, which you may never have to do, but just in case, we take a water hose, go from here into RV antifreeze, turn on our water pump, and go to each faucet and turn on until it comes through that color. Usually it's pink stuff you see in the new trailers. They build them in Indiana, so they have to winterize them there.
Yeah.
Now, if we're doing a lot of dry camping, say that freshwater tank's starting to give a bad taste, we can switch this over to Sanitize. And then we'd still have a hose go from here into the way the factory suggests is for every 5 gallons of water, half a cup of bleach. Turn on our water pump and it'll siphon it into the freshwater tank, drive it around a little bit so it slushes around, cleans the walls. And then right here is how we drain our freshwater tank. So we pull this handle, it's gonna drop all the water out. It is 1.5 inches, so I do not suggest being in the campsite when pulling that handle. They'll leave a hole in the campsite. But then once we've done that, refill it back up with fresh water just to get all the residue out, drain that out, and it should be good to go. If we are ever going to be storing it somewhere freezing or winterizing it, we do want to turn off the water heater. But like I said, you may never have to do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, so the fun part. Our drain is all the way in the back. We only have one drain, but our handles for it are right here. So when we have our sewer hose hooked up, always pull the black tank first. So we'll pull that handle, let everything start draining out. While this handle's open, we're gonna take a separate water hose. Not our fresh water drinking hose, but a completely separate one. I usually see people get an orange hose just so it tells them that's not for drinking out. That connects to here and that'll wash out the walls with black tank. But we do wanna make sure this handle is open before we hook water to here. If we don't, it will create back pressure, goes up the vent tube, turns into a day. And then we're all done, we'll turn off the water, close the black, open up our gray just to wash everything else out. In case we go to a campsite with satellite or cable. And you do have a separate switch out here for your water pump too.
When would we use the switch for the water pump?
If we were winterizing it.
Okay.
So you're not having to run all the way inside, just to push a switch, you can turn it on out here. And then you have 2 of these. They're for the tire chocks.
Okay.
I do suggest leaving at least this one Awning. So that way, before you leave, if you look and you see that, take those off before trying to leave.
That's a good idea. Oh yeah, and you won't run into it because the
it's right where it's at.
That's
Maybe
smart.
even a flag, just something on it,
Yeah.
just to, hey, don't forget me.
That's smart.
The other one would go right by the steps. That's why I don't suggest leaving the one on the door side on, but that non-door side I do suggest. And then you do have tank heaters right here as well. That goes right off the 12 volt. And that's just gonna heat up your gray, black, and fresh. So in case you're staying somewhere where it's that cold, you do want to make sure, last thing you want to do is
So that heater is only for when it's cold?
Yeah, because all it's doing is keeping the tanks warm.
Okay, so did you say that's fresh water as well?
Yes, fresh, gray, and black.
Okay, so if I want a hot shower...
No, that's done from something else. This is just, if it's so cold outside, you're worried about something in the tank freezing.
Got it.
That's when you want to have that on.
Okay.
Now, whenever we get to the campsite, I always want to plug this side in first. See, we have a blue light, and then there's a red light. If the red light comes on, they have it wired wrong at the campsite. It's not a surge protector, just making sure it's wired properly. So I always want to plug this side in first, make sure that blue light turns on, just so you don't plug in the coach and hurt the coach.
And that cord comes with it?
Yeah, that's your cord.
I didn't realize that came with it.
connects to here as well. Cold water only. So in case the neighbors make you mad, spray them off. 110 plugs as long as you're plugged in or running off a generator or the inverter's on. I thought this one was a little odd, but it does give you access to the inside as well.
Oh, yeah,
You can do it with a drill, just not an impact, but like an 18-volt drill. So you do want to take the clip off first. You see how so what we do, we'll pull that lever. Not really.
Okay, can I just see how tight this is? Okay, so it's not like...
It's not meant to lift the tires off the ground.
Okay,
All it's
so
doing
it's
is keeping you
just-
from wobbling around
All
the
right,
side.
so it's not tight, it's just like...
You see how the trailer moves just a hair?
Okay. Got
Just
it.
move just a little bit. That's all you wanted to do is just move a little, because all we're
It's just
doing
to
is...
keep it from...
Exactly.
Okay.
And when bringing it up,
Can I do that? Oh, yeah. Just pull it on so, oh, okay, it pulls up. I see.
and then when it
Okay.
goes down, then you can adjust it to where it's actually holding it better. So you're not having to try to run it all the way down this way.
Right, okay.
It's just making it more convenient.
And then, how far does this go?
But always want to make sure the clip's in just in case.
So it just has to be up far enough for me to get the clip?
Well, I keep going.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Oh, okay, okay.
That way it's nice. It's the clips just in case if something were to fail, it's only going to drop so far,
Right.
not drop all the way down.
Right, okay.
So our monitor for the Go Power, our output of what the Go Power has on the batteries, and then our inverter control panel. And you do have a light in here as well. It is a motion light. So 2 is on motion, 0 is off, 1 is constantly on. I always suggest to keep it on motion. That way when you open it, you got light right there. Before you bring the awning in, you just want to loosen this up. So when traveling, that gives you a nice clean look, no longer the stairs down here. Now you do have adjustable feet. So we'll pull it out. You want to make sure this is nice and flush here. That way when you step on it, you get a nice solid step instead of the bounce like on the old steps. We have our ceiling lights on and off, but each one has a button so you can turn each one off individually. And this is going to be our dimmer for those lights. Our awning lights, that's how we turn these ones on and off. And we do have a dimmer also for the awning lights. That was something new I've never seen before. Our water pump, that gives us pressurized water to our water lines. Our step light, which is going to be underneath. And then our accent light is going to be this one right here. But if it is left on here, you can turn it off right here. Our battery, low, fair, good, and charging. When you're plugging into Sure Power, you're charging the battery. When you're plugging your tow vehicle, you're charging the battery. What year's tow vehicle?
What year?
Yeah.
2019.
19. So when you turn it off, it's no longer charging the battery. Before 15, if you turned it off, it kept charging the battery, and it would usually kill the truck battery.
Yeah.
So that's why I ask it. You notice it is motion. So it's not, you don't have to push buttons to check it, just motion and it'll turn right on. And of course, when you're parked out in the sun, solar's charging the battery as well. Your freshwater tank, empty, 1/3, 2/3 and full, just a rough estimate, not an exact amount. Your black water tank, which is strictly just the toilet, and then your gray is going to be the kitchen sink, and bathroom shower. This is Bluetooth capable, so you can actually sync your phone to this and do all these operations from your phone. Our Truma system. So when we press once, we have the temperature in the coach. So we have heater, AC. Add it on. A little warm, cold this morning. All the way to the back to turn it off. And AC, we have vent, cool, and then we can pick the temperature we want for the AC. Give it just a second. Come on. I know it's about 60 degrees in here. Is it really less than 60 degrees in here?
I don't think so.
There we go. So that's one thing I was skipping. You have to push the button to accept it. Where like the item you're in, you press the button to accept the item you're in, and they do have a quick reference guide that does go through all this as well. Your water heater. So see how we got the little indication up here, hot? That means the water heater's on and it's at full temperature. If it was flashing, that means it's still trying to get the full temperature. First place we want to check, just pop the center. If we reset that and it's still not working, right down here, all of our 110 power and all of our 12 volt power. And something that's nice about this, next to each one of these fuses is an LED light. So if that fuse were to pop, an LED light will actually light up. These metal ones are automatic resettable fuses. So just give it a moment, it's gonna automatically reset if those items do pop.
So we should have spare fuses for the blue ones?
15, a 20, and a 40.
Okay.
Your refrigerator is a 20, and kitchen entertainment is the 15, and then bathroom and slide are 15. The very bottom one is your charge line. So when you're plugged in campsite, that's the one actually charging the coach.
Okay.
That one will very rarely pop. It's more likely going to be the 20 and the 215s, if anything. And then, of course, your breakers, if they pop all the way down, all the way back up. All right, so unlock position, lock position. If this is sitting a little bit back, like if it's sitting like that, that's not locked in. We want that all the way forward and down. Once we've got that locked in, take our chains. You know why we cross our chains?
In case the thingy fails, we don't have a cartoon event where the trailer flips over on top of the truck.
Did you know the other reason?
No.
California, we don't like dragging chains, causes sparks. Now these tags say they can lift this entire trailer. These chains can lift this entire trailer. So if the chains ever break, that's who we sue.
Oh, so we keep those on.
Yes. Right. So it's gonna be on this side. So see a little tab right here? That lines up with this. If it's sitting like that, that's not in. We want that all the way forward and in so it actually holds it from falling out. See that tab now sits on the back side of that, which actually locks that into place so it can't fall out while you're traveling. You want to go ahead and hit retract?
Say that again.
All right, so this is your emergency brake. Hook it up right to the actual truck, not to the chains. Airbags. If for some reason the chains were to fail and the hitch were to fail, this will pull out, lock up the wheels so the trailer doesn't go rolling past you as you drive down the road.